Hi everyone, welcome back. So I have taken a bit of a gap, or it may seem like that. Yes, I was busy with some other work, but I was also working on this. It's not that I had completely stopped working, but I did have to struggle with um, some of the tasks. I will try to go over what I have done in the meantime. So I did actually this top panel. I had used this like the front side. That is the front side of the table or the top. So I had made this as the registration face, and I had made this to as 90-degree with that. But then I realized and I had already installed the turn buttons and also that's finalized. Then I realized that I have to now make housing dados from this side. So I do need my combination square to be registered from this side. I need to measure some distance from this side. So what I needed was actually a face edge on the face on this one, and this to be fully 90 degrees. So I had to really work on that one. I have now made sure that this is jointed, or this is the straight, and these two sides are 90 degrees. So I had to spend considerable amount of time. It's worth it. Worst case scenario, if these are not 90 degrees, we just have to make sure that we make all the measurements of the center, meaning we calculate the center here, draw a line, and every calculation should be off the center. That should be possible, but it just makes it easier afterwards if we do this thing. So that's what I did. I'll just bring the top panel also. So I was a bit more careful about that aspect on the top panel. So I have also written these things there. Top. Yeah. And here I try to be a little bit more efficient. I haven't even planed the front side. This is this is yet to be this is all curved and all, because I don't need that. Eventually that's going to be an arc. So why do I spend energy on that one? So I have made sure that I jointed this side, so which is going to be on the back, because there is going to be a corresponding 3 housing dados on this side, so that through those 3 support pieces, let me keep one, because the grain orientation is such that if they fall they may crack. So 3 pieces, this piece is going to be housed on top of that. Now that's one thing. The other thing is that about these 3 rails, I was working on dimensioning this, and since I do all these things, I did only using hand tools. I didn't even use the bandsaw. So it took me a considerable amount of time. So these are the 3 pieces. I made sure that these are longer. So the shorter ones actually go on the 2 sides. I mean, they will be going on the bottom panel. And their middle one would be slightly longer. This is way longer than I really need, but it's good to have that, because yeah, you never know, this thing is a little bit tricky to get. So once, if you see the grain orientation, the grain goes upwards. Instead of this having a regular a long board this way, I had to do it this way, because we are working with solid wood. This is not plywood or something we can get away with. So this is going to be glued and housed in the dado joint of the tabletop. So if the grain is this way, there will be no contrariness, and the expansion which happens sideways, they are going to expand in the same direction. So this is what we want. So all 3 of those I did it that way. Now as per the plan, he used these as 3/4 inch. All these boards tabletop and all my frames, they are usually 7/8. So I had these pair pieces. I had already glued these, and then I thought I should make it 7/8. The only reason being, he may have thought that it will look aesthetically good. I had already 7/8 inches and probably a little bit thicker than that. And after I did that, it was very difficult for me to it's possible, very much possible, but it was difficult for me and time consuming for me to thickness this, thin it down, because I can't plane this way. I did try to do a cross grain to get it rapidly it works, but there is always a chance of some blowout happening from these unsupported sides, and then I had to create a bevel. It's a pain. It's better to, like, if you really want 3/4 piece, thickness the piece first, like the long piece, and then cut it down, cross cut it, and then edge joint to make these panels. So I decided that whatever I have thickness is still close to 7/8 inches. I'll just go with that. It's not worth it. So it's going to be strong, at least it is definitely going to work, no doubt about it. I don't know whether this will look like little bit bulkier than normal along with the drawers. We'll see, but I'm just going with that. And try to be as, like, I tried to be as like I hand planed these. So I tried like to be as consistent in the width as possible, but again, I am working with hand tools. It's always difficult, like, to get it completely plain. It's there will be a little bit variance, so we have to accommodate for that. It's all possible, we can do that. So let me come back to the next steps. What I did, those are the things I worked on. This took me a lot of time. Then I did some like layout. So the thing I did, let me take this off and for some time, and then bring it back. So I need to have like 3 housing dados, like 2 on the side, 1 at the center. So I already marked it. So initially I marked it with a pencil. So the outside part of this dado, this will be my left side, because when I'm standing on the front, this will be my left. So this left side, so from this side, like 3 7/8 inches I used. So that will be the outside half of the dado. I just marked initially with a pencil. Same on this side, like 3 7/8 on this side. So marked with a pencil on the outside half. And then the center one, I first like used a tape measure to get the center point. And then from the center point, assuming my stock is 7/8, so I put 7/16 on each side, marked like a pencil line on one of the sides. The other one I didn't mark it yet. I wanted to use the reality. So I brought these support pieces, like I decided which one goes which side. This one goes this side, this one goes this side. So I just used that, put it flush against that pencil line, and marked another pencil line on this side. Same on both these. Then I had to finalize something using the knife. So one of like the outside line, I decided that I finalized that with a knife line, but how long? So this one, there is going to be a slight bevel on this side, like there is going to be an angle, because meaning that the upright support is going to have a bevel this way. So the outside part is going to be shorter, this side is going to be the longer. The longer one as per the plan was 11/5/8, I believe. So I did that, and this one I made sure it is like I started with a 1/4 inch less and then drew the knife line. Same on the other side. I didn't mark with a knife on the other side yet. The reason being, when we chop a dado, I will be chopping with a chisel and then taking out material like step by step. There is always a chance that I move the knife wall if I am like usually that happens, like the knife wall may move like by a very small margin. So once I chop the one side, I will again put this piece and then mark like with my knife the other side. So that's what I want to do. I have already like done the housing dado on one of the sides. I have also created the bevel. I was just seeing like how it happens. Like it took me a long time because I really like working on like the dado, housing dado. But to be frank, like it has been a little bit of hit and miss for me. The reason being, sometimes it so happens that the dado joint is a little bit loose for me, which I don't want. So I have to be a little bit cautious. I really enjoy it, but it can be faster, but I just try to take my own time. So yeah, so I will be working on the other side right now. But before that, what I also did was I brought the other piece, the top piece, which is going to be housed this way. right? So I made sure that this is equidistant on both sides, like more or less. I just made it flush. I clamped it so that it doesn't move. So I transferred those three like walls of the dado to this side, like with small marks, knife marks. And then important thing, like very important, it may seem like trivial, but it's actually important. Because we are marking just one line, mark a cross on the side that we need to take out the material, because if we chop on the other side, it would be a disaster. So that's what I've done. I'm yet to chop on the top side, so I will come back to that later. So I do have the markings there. I did put the pencil marks and all those things on that piece also. So now with my space, the amount of space I have, it's really tough for me to. I initially started chopping from here, but there is no support underneath and it was a lot of vibration. My chisel was not working properly, or I was not getting my chop cuts properly. So I will now move it back to the bench. I had to do a lot of cleanup work on my bench, by the way. So yeah, I have put it on the bench. There is still no support here. I mean, this is what I can get right now, so I have to just stick with what I have. But it does really help if you have a big bench or if you have a more area. Now one more thing I did was, like, because as I said, like this side, the upright is going to have a angle, meaning like the side towards the edge is going to be shorter, slightly shorter, and this the other side is going to be longer. By the way, this angle is 103 degrees. I just used this protractor. I set it at 103 degrees. Now the idea is that yeah, this is set at 103. I really needed to put it this way. It just worked on the other side, but I don't want to change it now. So what I did, just use a bevel gauge. So put this angle like with a pencil, and then use the bevel gauge to just transfer that angle. So this should be the same angle. So I will just use that to the inner side is supposed to be the long edge. So I'm just putting this here. I'll take a pencil, preferably a sharp one, sharper than what I have actually. I'll just start with a pencil, and then I'm just always double checking, like, yeah, the orientation is right. I'm marking with a knife. So I'll keep this. I don't think I will need that again to. So that's what I did. Now this side I do have like a initial, like a knife wall. By the way, like I again sharpened my chisel because I was not feeling all right. Like it's just the way, like we cannot afford with hand tool woodworking. Like if you don't feel like it, we go back and sharpen. It may happen multiple times a day. I don't do that, but we should be doing that. Yeah. So I'm just working on this side. My knife mark is there. Very shallow. I don't want to go past my knife wall. I'm just going like near it and just lifting the chisel this way to make sure that it just splits. The initial like part, we have to have a bit more patience, because that is where, like if we are not sensitive, then there are more chances that the knife wall gets shifted, because there is yet no depth established. I do get nervous, but I do enjoy this a lot. I don't know, for some reason I find this I get more nervous with dados than dovetails. I don't know whether that is normal or just me. Now ideally, like I have the first this thing though, so I could go with the chisel. That's what Paul does, but I am like not confident with my initial chop, so I will still go with one more level of knife. Let me sharpen my knife also. If I have the chisel sharp, then why not the, I should not have any complaints. So I am just gently going to over that to deepen the knife wall. I have to be gentle, but less likely. This is not a chop, so it's not really going to shift the knife wall. The only risk is that if I lose control, then my knife, yeah, can go once again to deepen it further. Yes, it is a little bit more time consuming what I am doing, but it's worth it. Yeah, that's it. I'm not coming with the knife for this again, so I can go ever so slightly deeper, but then I can just flick these fibers. Now I can start with my chop cuts. Even then, what I want to do is I slightly lean my chisel ever so, instead of perpendicular, I slightly lean ever so slightly to make sure that there is even less chance that the bevel moves the knife wall. And I will do that only for the first chop, by the way. I don't need to. I'm just trying to be extra cautious. In fact, I need to be more cautious on the other side, but yeah, I just I'm trying to get my housing dado technique like perfect. And these are overlapping cuts, so every subsequent chop I am like putting a quarter inch or so my chisel on the previous thing, and then moving. And this dado is going to be a quarter inch deep. So yeah, it's going to be a quarter inch deep, so I should have it somewhere here. So I already have my router plane set at like quarter inch, and I have made sure that on the other side like here I have already like marked the depth with this using as a gauge. And to make my life even easier, I am actually using two router planes, so that I will not change the setup. That is the quarter inch, that will be ideally my final pass, and I am using my other router plane to slowly creep into the depth. Not a necessity, but it does make it easier and quite a bit of fun. I'm trying not to hit the other side of the knife wall, so split just before that, so and let the natural property of the wood split from the point where it needs to, or it's supposed to, which is just below that knife wall ideally. If my chisel hits that wall, then it in theory it weakens the wall a little bit. Now I can go slightly heavier because I have like some depth established there. Here it is like it's almost like it's a pleasure when this when we do this split cut and all those things with a chisel. I really enjoy that. Especially some work with chisel is something very enjoyable for me. I'm pretty sure it would be for a lot of other folks also. And chisel is one of the easiest to sharpen, so if we can like remove like bulk of the material using the chisel, that would be preferable, because as I said, easiest to maintain and sharpen. And of course, like I like planing also, because especially when it's going so well. I haven't yet looked at my quarter inch mark on the other side, because from the feel of it, it is still some way to go. But after this one, I am definitely going to go back and check. And the other temporary pencil mark just reminds me that I should not go too close to that line, because eventually when I mark a knife line on that side, it's most likely going to be inside of that, because I would have moved the knife wall. So, but still I can go a little bit. Could I do it quicker? Possibly, quite likely, but there is also a good chance that I will my joint doesn't come out that good. And never have I tried to finish this project soon, because not sure if I've told this earlier. My concern is not that when this will get over. My concern is what am I going to do when this gets over. So I have to find another project, because it's that whole journey, like is so much enjoyable. Like Paul says, like it's not what you do but how you do. He keeps saying that, and I really enjoy that, and I'm understanding the meaning. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to turn this on the other side, because I want to see the depth mark, which I can't see from this end. This is where we have to be cautious, in the sense that I don't want to chop it deeper than I need to. So probably like after this, in any case, this side is all like bouncy. So I will stop right there. What I am going to do is bring the upright that's supposed to be, this is the one, right? Let me see, I should have written. So this is the left, and I have given arrow pointing to top, so it should go this way. So I put it this way, butt it up. There is another challenge. There may be like a little bit of cupping because of the grain orientation. So we want to make sure we take a registration face when it is like fully flush. So I will just, I am trying to butt it up completely, and then mark a knife, and then I can take my combination square, the small combination square, it is far away from the my original line. Yeah, far away meaning like inside of that one, which means that my initial pencil line was not accurate, or most likely that was the case, but I may have moved the knife wall a little bit also, but not this much that this thing shows. Now here, because like this thing is bruising on the waist side, so I went with like few deep cuts. So same thing now on this side. Maybe a good idea to clamp this also, because I see like this thing like really moving. Now I could immediately go and start my chop cuts. Nothing wrong with that as long as I'm careful. But I just try to take that one extra step, one extra pass with my knife. Which means like really 2 passes. Just establishes that extra bit of depth before I start my chop cuts. I guess when we are working on these kind of things on a tabletop or like a panel, because it just makes us a little bit more nervous. I think it's obvious because lot of investment has already happened and all. We don't want to mess things up and at this stage. So I guess hopefully I'm just normal there, but I'm starting with a first chop, so I'm leaning slightly. Not going too close to that bevel, just eyeballing like how close I am to that. I can go one more chop. Just making sure I'm not going too low, because it's better to go a few extra passes using the router plane. Chisel does make it faster, but I don't want that to impact my accuracy in any way. I will stop there. Now there is a hump at the center, which I'll take a narrower chisel. Just putting it like halfway. This two-handed grip pointing slightly upwards really works, but unfortunately I cannot go too deep. I can only go like to the length of my chisel, so I have to go bevel down to remove some of that waste, because it is quicker with the chisel. I don't know how this is going to fit yet. I believe this is going to fit nice, but at least the walls are I will now use my router plane, which is not set at that 1/4 inch, just to creep up. Like I have to back it out because it's I want to take a little at a time. Very important to always check, like we don't want those loose chip to be stuck on the bottom. Perhaps I could have gone deeper, a little bit deeper with the chisel. That would have been quicker, but I don't mind this. Router is also fun and it's going uniformly. That's the advantage. Like it's there is a point here, like where this two boards are jointed, that I do feel like there is like some resistance there. Like the fiber is like more tenacious than at other places. So there is that point on the other end where I'm not going too deep with the router yet. I have to come with the chisel because that is angled. And long way to go. Let me work a little bit on that side. So I did mark, so I have to creep up to that. I had made a knife mark, but I'm not going, oops, so no. Still I went like more deeper than I should have. There was a little bit of breakout, but hopefully that is not much. You have to be very careful on that end. I tried to be, but I had to be even more careful than I was. Luckily I had kept some buffer there. I did feel like there was like a weakened fiber like that that split a little bit. That should not have, but I am just trying to make sure the damage is not I mean, worst case I'm going to come with a super glue, but I think it's not damaged to that extent. Now I'm going right up against that wall, but angling the chisel so that I'll go with my router plane just to see like how much. There is little bit more material and I don't want to slam my router plane into that, so I'm yes, very tedious but fun. I have to see now how much depth. I think this should be maybe like this cuts, but I feel like that is very sharp, which is good. But I feel like I could go like if I go like a small pass on this one using this one. I'm taking slightly more material, but this one I had freshly sharpened and I've used it less. It's not that the other plane I have actually used it more. So nice. Slight bit of like fuzzy fibers. I could just use my knife. None on this side, only on that side. So the walls of this Dado, they look and feel really nice, sharp. They came out good, but all that matters is the fit. That's it. That's to the depth. Took a long time for me, but came out well. So this, let's see how it fits now. This side, yeah, you see, it grips. So that is this is the ideal fit. On the front, I don't want it to be loose anywhere. This front part, let's see. I will not try to hammer it in, but if it fits at one point, as long as it, I do feel like this section is wider. So what I'm going to do, yeah, that section is wider, so you see that section is not even going there. So my Dado is fine. It's just that this section is wider. I need to take some material out. I have to thin down this piece a little bit. Like I have to take a few shavings, and that should be good. So I will try to use this as my temporary bench. That happened with the other piece also. I think there was one of the when I formed the panel, this dark colored one, that was the one that was thicker than the rest. My plane. don't want to take too much material there. Let me take some from the other side. Yeah, I can feel a hump here. You won't face this issue if you have used a power planer like machined or something. So I'm not saying I don't do that, but I didn't do it on this occasion. It's just I think this will fit. It's just that will it, to make matters worse, this also has like a cup. I think it is going in. I see some gap here. That is because there is a bow in that one, and it's going in, and it's very tight. So I don't want to take any more material out. Now I have to compensate for that angle, or rather I have to create that bevel angle. Left side pointing upwards. Let me put a number, as there I had put number 1. I can put here number 2. I will use my bevel gauge to put that angle. Good thing is that I have enough material there. I could just use my finger as a gauge to mark that, or I have the combination square, so let me try to be a little bit more accurate on this one. So yeah, so that's the angle I have drawn, so this line. But basically, like this part I have to create a part, I have to remove that and create that bevel so that it fits on that other bevel again. I can take like initial bulk of the material using my scrub plane. Near that line, but then I'm trying to take that's it. I don't want to go deeper now. I'll fine tune with this one, so using that as the I'm again going near that line. So I have to get this accurate. Doesn't matter if I lose, like I have to take more material to reach that level of accuracy, because that is the advantage of having a lot of stock there. Now what I want is definitely I want this to be remain as 90-degree right angle, and I'm just trying to see how close I am. I am fairly accurate, like this one. Fairly accurate. I don't mind that accuracy. Now the angle I have to check. That side is good. This side maybe little bit, maybe one swipe. I don't want to tinker with it too much. I'm like for a hand planing work, I think it's, yeah, I can also feel like that's it. I think that was what I didn't need more than that. Yeah, that did the trick. Now if everything is fine, this should fit there. I know that this goes in, what I want to check is, yeah, so this thing is done. I do the center one and then I repeat the same thing on the top panel. The only difference with the center one is that I don't need to worry about the angle. That is the easier part. The difficult part is that I have to make sure that I don't chop off fully like I have done this one, because this is going to remain shy of like, I believe 5 by 8 inch or something like that. I will have to check. The reason being, once these are like housed, these two, the center one is going to remain shy and there is going to be one single panel that covers the entire thing. It will give the impression that from the back it's just one single. So that's the idea. So I will do all of those and we'll go to the next step. Lot of learning in the process, but yeah. All right, see you again.